I'm Anna Carlson.
I'm Nidhi Gothi.
I'm Nick Carroll.
I'm Ashley George, and we are Aquasax.
So when we originally were discussing or brainstorming our original ideas, we looked at the extra credit points and kind of started from there and decided we wanted to go for a product that was 100% biodegradable, because that was one of the what do they call it?
Extra credit.
Or like
Multipliers.
That was one of the multipliers. And so we started looking into products that would decompose, like canvas, and ways to waterproof canvas that was natural, like using beeswax. But before we really settled on the idea, we decided to take that to the guru that we had access to. So we met with him, and he basically said that if we wanted to win, that was not the way to go, that no group that has ever taken that approach has ever been successful. So we had to reassess what our goals were in general, whether we wanted to, whether going all natural was our main goal, or if we wanted to focus more on a successful product.
So once we had decided that we didn't want to go with a biodegradable product, we moved on to do research to see what our other options would be. So looking for more synthetic fabrics and options, we came up with a nylon, like we were leaning nylon, and polyurethane as like a waterproof film that we could iron on. And with more research, we decided that it would be best to do like a cylindrical shape with a certain like special kind of like seam work at the bottom that we could work out later to try to prevent leaking at the main seam that would be along the base. So after we had our research, we moved on to ordering, gathering the products, and went from there.
So the way we started construction was we decided to sew the bag because we didn't have a seamless design. So we started by making a prototype, which we didn't really have a pattern for what we were going to do. They don't really sell fabric bucket patterns in Joann's. So we kind of did a little prototype that was about this big. We called it Baby Sack. So that seemed to be a successful design as far as shape and using less material. So then we just replicated it on the nylon that we had after we ironed the polyurethane on the nylon. Yeah, so the straps, we thought about doing regular backpack straps, but then we realized there would have to be really strong stitches if we didn't want that to be a failing point. Also, we were trying to avoid stitching onto the actual bucket itself because that would just create more holes and more leaks. So we ended up doing a harness type thing. In the end, there wasn't anything sewn onto the bag itself. It was more like just like a little harness for the bag to go in that hung from the top.
And then as far as testing went, after we finished assembling the bucket for the first time, we just went to Nidhi's bathroom and just cranked the water, and we saw that it was leaking on the bottom. So this was whenever we decided that at the bottom where the base of the cylinder met the sides of the cylinder, we needed to add more polyurethane to protect the seams from getting hit with the water. So we inverted the bucket and ironed on as much polyurethane as we could, and then we tested it again, ironed it again, tested it again, and then it worked. So that was the extent of our testing.
This group won the multiplier for most professional appearance of their bucket.
So at Fed, we were doing good, and then it actually came to the testing time, and we weren't doing good.
I feel like the design was solid and everything was going pretty much according to plan, but we had a small flaw with how we fastened it, so that too much of the water started to seep over to one side. It kind of fell out of the caging mechanism.
So I feel like the only thing that really went wrong on Fed was we didn't take the time to straighten out the base, and it was a little bit uneven because we did have chunks of plastic at the bottom. So I feel like if we had straightened out the base and put it in the harness correctly, it would have been successful, because most of our tests were a lot more successful than the actual that day testing.
So one positive thing that did happen at Fed is that our design of the actual bucket won the most professional design.
When it comes to what we learned and what we would change, one thing I thought about was changing our design completely. Rather than using a cylindrical shape, we could have done seamless. That's what many of the more successful groups did. The reason we didn't do that originally was to not have as much excess fabric, because we knew weight was a big factor into the calculations of who would win.
Yeah, so I feel like we didn't go towards a seamless design, like she said, because of the extra weight. But in the end, after adding all of the extra polyurethane on the inside of the bag to prevent leaks, it really kind of canceled out the benefits of the cylindrical design. So going seamless probably would have been a better idea.
From the standpoint of altering our design that we ended up going with, I think one of the things we could have improved on was spending less time on theorizing, maybe ordering the products earlier, and spending more time troubleshooting, fixing what was already there. Because I feel that sort of near the end, we weren't really crunched for time, but we didn't have as much time as we could have to iron out some of the problems. No pun intended.
I love sewing. It's my favorite part of being a woman.